A lot of people think Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, is faking his sickness. And obviously, guys, in my opinion, it is a little bit weird. It's a coincidence that it happens this close to the fight and they already made it to Saudi. But honestly, the fact that they already made it to Saudi Arabia makes me feel like, why would they wait this close to the fight to pull out? It just would make them look bad, especially if they did it intentionally. And, he was evaluated by the commission and they decided to pull Kid Austin from the fight. But, Shakur Stevenson, in his opinion, said recently after his media workout that Kid Austin must have had some weight trouble because, Shakur saw Kid Austin in Saudi. He was already a little bit skeptical about whether or not Kid Austin would actually make it to fight night, and he was right because obviously Kid Austin isn't making it to fight night. And honestly, at least Shakur has a replacement fight, and he's still set to go because he looked to Eddie Hearn and said, we better still have a fight here even if it's not Kid Austin. So he's still skeptical about whether or not Kid Austin is really not taking the fight or pulling out because he's unable to, or because he never actually planned on the fight taking place. That's what Shakur is kind of implying, that it's a lot of funny business, a lot of shenanigans, and it's a circus in Shakur's words, and he doesn't want to be part of the circus. And honestly, Shakur was doing Kid Austin a favor by giving him this opportunity because he was offered a lot of money to fight Shakur Stevenson. This was the biggest fight of his career, and if Kid Austin isn't actually as sick as people think, or it's because of the weight issues and not being able to make 135, then it's a little bit disrespectful to Shakur Stevenson, who is willing to give Kid Austin this big opportunity, for him to get paid, for him to get showcased on a big stage, on a big Riyadh season card. So it is what it is. Shakur is gonna make the show go on. That's what he said. The show must go on, and he's gonna do his thing on Saturday. I was gonna say Saturday night, but here on the East Coast, the fight's taking place more so during the daytime. But yeah, definitely unfortunate for Shakur Stevenson. He's definitely, like I said before, still skeptical about the Kid Austin situation and whether or not they really even wanted to fight in the first place. Shakur just doesn't believe it because when he saw Kid Austin in Saudi, he said that initially, when they were doing a little bit of, these press conferences, the interviews, he said that he saw Kid Austin and he didn't even look like he was anywhere near 135. So it made Shakur think, I don't know if this kid's gonna make weight or if we're even gonna have a fight or if he even plans to fight me. And here we are, a few days away from the fight, and he's saying that he's not going to be able to make the fight because obviously we're seeing the pictures, unfortunately, of Kid Austin not feeling great. But, Shakur thinks a big reason why he's in the hospital in the first place is because of dehydration. We all know in the sport of boxing, the real fans know that cutting weight is honestly harder than the fight because these guys are dehydrating themselves. Everybody says that, cutting weight is something that every boxer does, which is true, and a lot of fighters are, like to say that they have it down to a science. They have their own method to their madness. They have it down, like to a T. But ultimately, with these guys being, in their primes, young men still growing, a lot of them, you can assume that every time they make weight, it's not going to be the same time as the last because, you're, like I said, you're growing, and a lot of fighters just can't. They can't get it down to a science because while you're growing, you're also not really keeping track of every single thing you're eating. You're doing workouts, but specifically what workouts you're doing, are going to be different from your last camp. So cutting weight is difficult, and Shakur is, basically saying that's why Kid Austin is pulling out of this fight is because, he never really intended on making weight. And then, when he tried to closer to the fight, maybe he got dehydrated, and that's why we're not getting Kid Austin versus Shakur Stevenson. But I still think Shakur would have won that fight regardless. But, it is unfortunate because it would have been entertaining to see, all this talk back and forth, the trolling, and then to see what would actually happen. But Shakur still has a fight, so that's good news. But let me know down below if you guys think that Kid Austin is sick because of, the weight draining issue or, cutting weight too extremely, because that's what Shakur believes is the case. But let me know down below what you guys think about Kid Austin pulling out of this Shakur Stevenson fight. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Nabs Boxing video. Peace.